No matter what kind of projects you have around the shop, if you're looking for some tips and help, it's time for Sam's Garage, presented by Lund International, with Sam Mamolo and Sam Madavi.
All right, caught me doing a little fabricating here. I'm building some pieces of angle iron. On my trailer, I'm going to put some D-rings. I drew a little diagram and I figured it out. I want to reinforce the bottom of the D-ring bracket. It's not D-ring. Where I go through the floor, have some angle iron to back that up a little bit. That's just for tying things down, not cars. What I'm using here is my trusty hem saw. This is the new one, the 1750 XL from HE&M saw. This is very similar to the saw I have in my shop. Here at Sam's shop, they shipped in the new one. It now has a base, so it comes all mounted on the base. And this is a big tray to retain the fluid, because now it's a wet saw, it's a flooded saw. It has on this side a tank for your cutting oil or coolant, and of course, it comes up here and spreads right on the blade there. And by the way, the blade is a 3/4 inch blade. Runs in reverse rotation, by the way, which cuts better. It really does a great job. And of course, this saw is powerful. It's got a 2.7 horsepower motor, it's variable speed, got a little thumb wheel right here. Got a slip clutch adjustment on the band, so when you decide to change the blade, what you're doing, of course, is you're not going to over tighten it or snap it or whatever. Well, one of the neat things about the saw is that it has a miter function. It'll miter to 45 degrees, but you don't have to miter the tubing or the work metal you have. If you've got a long piece of metal, you may not have any room to swing it. We've got a couple little deals here that we loosen, and then the saw head pivots up to 45 degrees. Let me move this handle. There you go. So you don't have to move your material. And it's got rollers front and rear. So if you have a long piece of material, it helps to support it. Let me lock this back down. Also, you've got a stop adjustment. If you're making, and this will unscrew, by the way, if it's in your way. You get your length of metal, tighten it up, and then you can make repeat cuts. If you need 6 or 8 pieces, you don't have to measure each one. That's a great little feature. All of these guides are adjustable to get them close to the blade. Got a new safety here. Everything you need. Now, you can also do something neat. You can notch tubing with this saw. That's really simple to do. All you have to do is loosen this up, pivot it 37.5 degrees. It depends on whether you're making a right angle, and that's what I'm going to do right here. So let's go to 35, 36, 37. Lock it down. Got a nice little pointer on the scale there. Lock your miter in. Then what you do is you set your material in. We want to cut this, but we don't want to cut it to a point. We want to have a little flat. So you're going to back it up a little bit. Guide up to look at it. There we go. Tighten up your vise. And this sure beats buying a big expensive notcher or one of those ones you have with the little hole saws that'll kill you. That's all there is to it. And you end up with a nice notch like that. Not much to weld. That way you don't have any big gaps. The HE&M saw, it's the XL 1750. It'll be your go-to saw in your shop, no doubt.
Sam's Garage, presented by Lund International, is being brought to you by Low Carb Performance Products. Quality, plain and simple. Stage 8, the world's best locking fastener. Brothers Truck Parts, your #1 source for 1947 to 87 Chevy and GM truck restoration. Stampede Automotive Accessories. Deflect it, protect it, experience it with Stampede Automotive Accessories. Welcome to the Brothers Truck Parts Workshop.
All right, I got a buddy's truck here. This is a 1970 CST-10. And of course, this truck's got less than 7,000 original miles. We're going to show you a little bit about fixing up the instrument panel, give you some neat tips and tricks. Show them what we got here, Steve.
So we got an old instrument panel. Now this thing has some mechanical gauges in it, like the stock oil pressure and your battery gauge, but it doesn't have a tach. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna pull this out of here, we're gonna do a tach conversion, but at the same time we're gonna clean up some of these gauges, because even though this thing is low miles, it's got some faded needles and stuff, and we'll show everybody how to do that, as well as take this apart. Now what's real tricky is the headlight switch for most people. So this switch actually has a button on top. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pull the headlights on, I'm gonna reach up there, depress the button, and then you'll be able to pull the rod all the way out, and then we can get this bezel off of here real easy. And then once that's all done, we'll get this thing on the table and show you how to do the tach conversion. You're gonna reach up under here. Your oil pressure gauge in these old vehicles is gonna be mechanical. It's gonna have a hard line. Get a line wrench on there, take that out, reach up, unscrew your unscrew your speedometer head, drop your steering column down to get it out of the way so we can pull the panel out.
You can see here, this is a perfect candidate for what we're doing. This has obviously had a fuel tank, fuel gauge replacement. Look at how bright the color is on the needle as the faded speedometer.
Right, but we're gonna show you guys how to fix that, make the speedo look just as good as that fuel gauge, as well as put that tach in there. But first we gotta get this thing apart.
Right. On the back, you got your old printed circuit, but we're not gonna use the same one, right?
Nope, we're replacing the printed circuit.
And this is what they used back here in, the 60s and 70s. These are all your little light sockets. These are all pretty much the same. And by the way, if you ever replace these, make sure you use the correct bulb. There's 194s, there's 68s and 58s.
Right.
And
this is a great time actually to just replace all your bulbs. Even if they're good before you took it out, just replace them. Make sure that when you put this back together, you've taken your time, you've covered all your bases, and when you put it back together, your project is totally complete. All right, we've got our dash apart, and we're gonna be replacing the lens. Try not to get your fingerprints all over the inside of this lens. You can see that this lens in my left hand does not have any tack markings in the center spot. This one does, so that's the only difference really between these two lenses. This is the old one, that's gonna stay. So the first thing we're gonna do, now this dash cluster was pretty nice, so we're not replacing the actual face, the instrument bezel, but we're gonna replace the lens. And when you push it in on the green spot so that you don't get your fingerprints on the clear spot, especially after you clean it. So now you can see we got that. And then what we're gonna do, now when we took this out, a lot of little stuff came out of here. You had some tubes here with some lenses on them. Now you got two green ones, you got one red one. The red one goes where the high beam selector is, so you can see where your high beams are, and the green ones are gonna go back so you can show where your turn signals are. So make sure you keep those tubes in order, keep your lenses in order, and those are actually gonna snap on, excuse me, Sam, to this housing. And they've got some little prongs here. We're just gonna take these tubes and snap them right over there before we lay that back together. And we're gonna start putting this housing back together with our gauges in it right now. All right, Sam, we're gonna put our printed circuit on now. So that just simply lays back down just like the other one was. And you'll see we got a big giant hump here in the middle. And this is a Tach specific printed circuit, and basically it's identical to the one we took out, except it's extra long in the middle so it can go over the Tach. That's just how they did it back in the day. We got a couple little retaining screws that hold this on that we'll get in here, and then we'll put our light bulb sockets in, that'll hold it on.
Make sure you got all of these things tight. Don't over tighten them and twist the ribbon. Steve's done a great job, and now we'll show you what this looks like. All the needles are the same color, got a tachometer, all your gauges work great. Just take your time, and it goes real simple. All right, you ready to put this back in?
Yep, let's pop it back in.
And make sure everything works.
Absolutely. All right, we got our dash back in, our gauges look killer, we got our tach working, and the sheriff is a happy camper. And it looks like it just rolled off the assembly line.
This is the DS18 Project Supra.
All right guys, today we're going to be installing this awesome catback exhaust from Racing Tanabe, full stainless steel, all right? And the cool thing with this is we get to test fit our exhaust because there is no differential in the way. I got Jonathan, the Italian Stallion is what we call him at the shop, here to help us. And what we're going to do is we're going to put the rear section in, then the mid section. And it's very important that when you're installing exhaust, anywhere there is a hanger going into the rubber, you want to put grease on the metal portion of the hanger, then slip it in. That'll give you multiple times of being able to pull it out and put it in and actually fit the exhaust on the car. You can go ahead and grab the muffler. We're going to put it up into this hanger right here. And Racing Tanabe has been around since 1982. They're in Japan. They build a lot of race parts, high quality, stainless steel construction with TIG welding, the seams, not MIG welding. What we're gonna do is put a little bit of grease on this piece right here. Okay, that way you can slip it in there, nice and easy. And when you guys are installing the exhaust system, believe it or not, it is very important to turn it to, make sure your hands are not dirty, because if they're dirty, then you'll put fingerprints on the actual piping, and if you forget to wipe those fingerprints off, you're gonna basically burn your fingerprints into the piping. And that's the last thing you wanna do, is stain your brand new pretty exhaust. So this is basically gonna hook up right here. Jonathan's gonna hold it for me. I'm gonna get this section on. And basically, normally the differential goes right here. So it's gonna definitely clear our differential. And the reason why we use Racing Tanabe at my shop, we've been doing it for a number of years, 18 to be exact. And I've got customers where these exhausts will come back to our shop 18 years later for an oil change, and the exhaust be perfectly intact still. Okay, so as you can see, we got the rear section and the mid section installed, and it fits pretty nice. Then the system also comes with this downpipe that normally would be used for the stock twin turbo setup, but because we're doing a single turbo custom application, we're gonna have to build a 3-inch custom downpipe. So then what we'll do is we'll connect this right here, we'll cut off the portion we don't need, and then we'll weld our downpipe that we're going to construct down the road to this section and utilize the rest of the exhaust. Now this thing is going to sound awesome, isn't it, Jonathan? Oh yeah. All right guys, we just got done installing the exhaust system. Next we'll be doing the wire harness, and after that we'll be fitting the powertrain in, so stay tuned. But I'm really excited about the DS18 sound system. These guys build demo vehicles all the time. They love to make them loud, but not only are they loud, they've got that sound quality that you're after. A lot of people have loudness, but they've got the distortion you can hear from either up close or even from a distance. Not DS18. They give you the loud volume along with the quality of sound as well, which is something that we're all looking for. I remember growing up as a kid, the first thing I did to my car was an audio system, because that's what I could afford and that's something I could do myself at home. And I remember the low frequency bass that we were all after. And usually to acquire that low frequency, you would have to use a 15 or an 18-inch subwoofer. In this case, we're going to be using a smaller subwoofer and getting the same performance.
All right, like in most restaurants, you got a bell, listen to this. Now, you treat it with lizard skin. But you guys are building cars, you're not building bells. Mark's here to tell us about lizard skin and how it applies to your car. So tell me about shooting this with the sound deadener.
What we do is, you know, you get your car, you get the hollow, echoey, rattly noises every time you close it. So we go in with our lizard skin sound dampening. We can go inside the door, we can go under the door panel. Nice awesome. And quiet. The hollow, echoey sound's gone, and your stereo improves. We have an insulating product too, make the air conditioning nice and cool. Absolutely.
And you know, I've taken and sprayed a car with the lizard skin, and it makes it like a tomb inside. Think about it, no matter what you glue on the bottom of the roof, when you put the headliner up, eventually it turns loose in the sun, lays there, doesn't do a good job of insulating, sound deadening. Lizard skin's water-based.
Right.
It cleans up with water. You don't need to have, you wear a mask, but you don't need a respirator.
Don't need a respirator.
No VOCs, it's safe.
It's safe. being water-based, it's non-toxic. It's also Class A fire rated, it won't burn.
Right.
You can actually put it underneath the car too, and it'll act as an undercoating. Under the fenders, you can protect your paint from rock starring.
Let's take a quick look at the fry pan.
Okay.
Here's a demo of their thermal product from Lizard Skin. Frying pan's coated on one side with 40 mil, thickness of a dime. 300 degrees. Look at this ice cube melt, that's hot. Right here, nothing's happening. Makes a big difference. Make your air conditioner really work good and keep you warm in the winter. So when you're building the next car, Lizard Skin goes on real easy. It's easy to use, easy to clean up. Only way to go.
Sam's Garage, presented by Lund International, has been brought to you by DS18. We like it loud. Appalachian Tourism. Virginia is for lovers. HE&M Saw, the saw that cuts straight. Tonneau Pro. Quality, versatility, affordability. Get covered with Tonneau Pro.
A great way to build more power is to reduce your underhood temperature. If you got cooler air under the hood, you get cooler air down the intake, it's better cylinder filling because the air is denser. This is Design Engineering's new titanium exhaust wrap. This stuff will take 1,800 degree direct heat and up to 2,800 degrees of intermittent heat. And the average wrap, 1,200 degrees, and it's done. This stuff is super pliable, it's easy to use, and what it is it's lava rock technology. It's pulverized lava rock woven into their proprietary fibers. And I'm telling you, you wrap a set of headers like this, they have nice little stainless steel locking ties. These things help to hold it on. And this is the carbon fiber look, and they also have it available in black, if you like the black look. This will really make a nice set of headers out of a standard set. And of course, this is easy to get. You can get it at O'Reilly Auto Parts, you can get it at AutoZone, you can get it at Summit. Design Engineering's titanium exhaust wrap.
It's time for the Lund International Custom Shop.
So Sam, you ready? We're getting ready to install this 3.5-inch stainless steel bull bar. They're going to install their new Revolution Bull Bar.
And you get the other ones.
Before we get started, I just want to point out one thing real quick. The LED light bar and the wiring kit, all inclusive, everything is turnkey and ready to install. So we just went ahead and put the light bar in here. It's a real simple installation. It comes with its own Allen key. Now we're ready to install that light bar.
All right, let's do it. Let's grab these nuts and bolts. I bet you we get done before you guys get done.
Not in your dreams.
We'll see.
This is a great wire harness too. Plug and play. Went in this truck like nothing.
Yep.
All right, let's go to work.
All right, you ready?
Yep.
The nice thing about these heavy-duty brackets is they're marked. There's a P on the passenger and a D on the driver. We've already gone ahead and installed that driver. Let's make sure everybody's clear on how we did this. This truck came equipped with factory tow hooks. So we've gone ahead and removed those, take those out of the way. We had to make a slight modification to their shrouds so that everything would fit up nice and clean.
Yep, and it also comes with these T-bolts. That way they slide right into the frame. You can't get to the portion to tighten it. You could get the nut, tighten it, and this will keep itself in place right on the inside of the frame. So we'll go ahead and install this. We're ready for the bull bar.
All right.
Okay, you have a bolt. I'm missing one bolt.
I don't have it on me.
Okay, you can let go of that. Good.
And I know you don't want to tighten these up all the way.
Tell me when I'm lined up. These guys are still banging around with some brackets over there. I don't know what's taking them so long.
I know.
There's obviously some thread locker on these things. I want to put these brackets on tight. You want to make sure that you can put the bull bar up. By the way, all the Lund kits come complete. This truck had factory tow hooks. We took them off, used the same hardware. If you don't get the tow hooks, you will get in the kit some T-bolts that you can use, and in some cases you need a U-bolt. Every Lund Bull Bar kit comes with all the hardware you need. Okay, so
good.
This will look
Switch
like
in.
this. All right, we got to put those other two brackets on. All right. And we need some hardware for that.
Can you hold the wrench on the inside of the nut? Open end.
You ever where you want it?
Yep. Up.
Top. All right, I'm on.
Other side.
Hold still. Let me get one in.
Bottom.
And then
Bottom.
you can get that one in. Do you want to use these holes? I'm up too high.
Let's go ahead and clean it off. Alrighty.
It's a good looking light bar.
That's,
Oh, this needs to have a connection.
man, that is pretty. Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know you are. Here you go. Here's another one of these.
All right, good.
Good job.
I'm kind of thirsty. How about you? Want to go get something to drink?
Yeah, I think we're done.
Come back and check on these guys in a few minutes.
You guys don't need any help over there, do you? No, man. Okay, because we're free if you need help.
Yeah, we just don't want you to slow us down. You know, this is black matte finish. Goes with the theme of this truck. Heavy duty steel. And Lund is smart enough to give you black hardware so it doesn't stick out. It looks great. Got our LED light bar. For the states that require a front license tag to give you a bracket. Everything you need comes in the kit. You're staring. Now, you guys were done first.
Yeah, we won.
Yeah, you won. I know you won. Can yours do this?
No, no.
See, you haven't finished wiring yet, so there.
if
These, by the way, are focused. You can adjust them. Make sure you don't blind somebody else. Look at the regulations in your state or locality. Okay, buddy, you can shut them off.
That's very nice.
I've one big enough.
That's very nice. If you bring it to my shop, I'll straighten it out for you.
The bottom broke off of this glass. Well, now we know why.